On September 21st, 2025, friends from across the United States and our global family of friends joined online from homes and meeting houses, individually and gathered together for a celebration of 20 years sharing faith and play stories. What has grown in this time is more than a collection of stories. It is also a vibrant community of practice that offers support to one another and is sharing stories in many places and ways. What is the experience of a faith and play story? What we hear from people sharing them across diverse contexts, whether in children's religious education, intergenerational worship, friends' school classrooms, meeting programs for newcomers, all underscores that these are more than a set of stories and not just for young children. Experiences with faith and play, creating, sharing, and gathering around stories connect listeners with prayer, community, worship, witness, history, Quaker theology, sharing across ages, generations, languages, locations, and our identity as friends. From the beginning, our work has included being in relationship with the Godly Play Foundation. We are grateful for the ways Godly Play has welcomed and included faith and play stories, Quaker trainers, and friends in the wider community of story sharing. There are so many people to thank who have contributed to this work over the last 20 years. Michael Gibson, whose creativity and faithfulness gave us several of the first stories and who anchored the administration of this ministry at FGC in its first years. Sarah Buchanan Wollaston, who was among the first working group members and who created the first logo. Our current logo was created by David Wakely, one of the current trustees of Faith and Play Stories. We are grateful for all the friends who have served the creative and stewardship aspects of this work and are part of what it is today. We've been under the care of various groups, including Philadelphia Yearly Meetings, Children's Spiritual Life Committee, and at FGC, the Committee for Nurturing Ministries. Also through FGC, support for publishing and continued distribution have been thanks to Brent Bill, David Botwinick, and Audrey Greenhall. Special thanks to those in New England Yearly Meeting who shepherded the translation of Faith and Play into Spanish, Beth Kalea, and translators Susan Furry and Benigno Sanchez Epler. And those groups who have helped us host dozens of trainings, Friends Council on Education, and the hospitality of Quaker retreat centers. This is a timeline of some of the highlights of 2 decades, illustrating the growth of story work, our incorporation as a nonprofit organization, and training. Trainings are how we grow this work in community. The Playing in the Light training is a godly play and faith and play training for Quakers. Almost 500 friends have participated in more than 70 trainings, reaching communities in more than 100 meetings in Friends churches across 20 yearly meetings and associations here in the US. The international reach has included partnerships with Friends World Committee for Consultation and invitations from yearly meetings outside the US to come and share faith and play. Another part of our support for the faith and play community is the availability of kits for sale through Quaker Books of FGC. Sally Welty, a trustee, is the friend who assembles the story material kits and shares them to Quaker Books to fill orders. As a previous slide showed, there are 28 Friends schools in the US where educators have been trained to use faith and play stories. The stories are used for Quakerism programs and worship experiences, and there is a training specifically for Friends school educators, learning in the light. The reach of this work has gone deeper in Latin America with thanks to Carol Menckus Cresswell. Her ministry as a godly play trainer connected her with the friends who created Faith and Play, but her ministry has gone on to touch many friends in Latin America, where she has led trainings and other programs using godly play in Spanish and Jugar Llenos de Fe, the 2013 translation of Faith and Play stories. Carol and her spouse, Jeff Cresswell, also a godly play trainer, have traveled in the ministry to Cuba, Mexico, Peru, Bolivia, Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, sharing the godly play approach and our stories. Stories have also been shared on continents beyond the Americas, in Hobart, Australia, and meetings in Aotearoa, New Zealand, following a training there in Wellington in 2023, in Ramallah, Palestine, at Friends Theological College in Kenya, first in 2019 as part of a Quaker Religious Education Collaborative Conference, but in October 2025, the first African Godly Play Faith and Play training will be hosted by QREC East Africa at Friends Theological College for friends from Kenya and Uganda. When friends reflect on the impact of faith and play stories and this approach to experiential spiritual community, they comment on how the practice is like personal worship, how it contributes to understanding Quaker history, how the sharing and openings continue long after attending a training, how training helps us consider children's spiritual lives in new ways, how stories help us to know that of God in each other. Faith and Play Stories is growing thanks to the generous support of the Thomas H. and Mary Williams Shoemaker Fund. We're about to begin year 2 of the project, Finding Ourselves in the Story, Growing Faith and Play for Friends. The goals of the project go beyond publishing additional stories and increasing training capacity, although those are important aspects where progress is happening. We seek to nurture ways for friends to share stories of Quaker faith, practice, and witness, while providing tools and resources for a reset of our approach to religious education in meetings. Experiences with faith and play stories enliven the faith of individuals and empower local meetings to offer spiritual community for all ages, children, youth, and other adults. We believe that we can grow from these grounded methods of nurturing spiritual formation and grow with hope. Onward, friends. We are ready and look forward to crossing the threshold into the next chapter. There are more stories, growing communities, and spirit-led work ahead.